Today, we're going to talk about something called child-friendly justice. It's a huge deal. We're going to look at how systems that are supposed to protect kids can sometimes end up hurting them, and how Thailand has actually become a world leader in creating a much better way forward for its youngest citizens. It sounds a little backward, doesn't it? But really, this is the question we have to wrap our heads around. The thing is, our traditional justice systems, well, they were built by adults, for adults. They just weren't designed with the unique needs and psychology of a child in mind. So when a kid enters that system, the process itself can cause some serious, even if unintentional, damage.
All right, so let's dig into this a little deeper. Why exactly is a system made for grown-ups so wrong for kids? And we're talking about any kid who comes into contact with it, whether they're a victim, a witness, or even accused of a crime. It really all boils down to a totally different way of thinking.
And this slide just lays it all out so clearly. The adult system, it's all about guilt, punishment, and payback. It assumes everyone is fully mature. But a child-friendly system, it flips that whole idea on its head. The focus shifts to protection and rehabilitation. It starts by assuming a lack of maturity, and the goal isn't to punish, it's to understand what went wrong and help that child become a part of society again.
You know, this realization that the old system was just plain flawed wasn't happening in a bubble. Over the last few decades, a huge global movement has been growing, with countries from all over the world coming together to create a brand new set of rules designed specifically to protect children.
And the foundation for this whole thing is the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, or CRC, from back in 1989. Get this, it's the most widely accepted human rights treaty in history. We're talking 196 countries have signed on. And Thailand was right there, joining the cause back in 1992. This is what gave us the universal definition of a child that we all use today. And right at the very heart of that convention is this one simple but totally revolutionary idea. The best interests of the child have to come first. I mean, that completely changed the game. It was a massive pivot from treating kids like miniature adults to finally recognizing that they have a special need for protection.
Now, this didn't just happen overnight. It's been building for a long, long time. You had the Beijing Rules in '85, which set the first standards for juvenile justice. Then came the huge one, the CRC, in '89. And right after that, the Riyadh Guidelines in '90, which focused on prevention. So each step was building on the last, creating this really solid international agreement.
Okay, so we've got this global foundation. And this is where the story takes a really fascinating turn. Because Thailand didn't just follow along. It stepped up and became a major leader in shaping what would come next. And this is so important to understand. Thailand took the lead here. Instead of just adopting the standards that were already out there, Thailand went to the UN and pushed for a totally new, more detailed global standard, one that was specifically designed to stop violence against children within the justice system itself.
And check out how this all went down. So first, Thailand makes the proposal. Then, and this is a big deal, it hosts the big international meeting in Bangkok, where all the experts came to actually write the thing. Her Royal Highness Princess Bajrakitiaba even presided over the meeting, which gave it huge support. And by the end of that very same year, the UN General Assembly officially adopted it. That's an incredibly fast journey from a national idea to international law.
So you're probably wondering, what's actually in this document that Thailand championed? It's called the Model Strategies. And it's basically a detailed blueprint for how to create a justice system that protects kids every step of the way. Let's take a look.
The whole thing is built around these 7 core principles, and they go way beyond the basics. We're talking about a child's right to be heard, protection from all types of violence, and recognizing that some kids are just more vulnerable than others. This is the moral compass for all the practical stuff that follows.
The strategies are kind of broken into 3 main parts. The first part is all about prevention. It calls for countries to legally outlaw all forms of violence against kids, to put broad prevention programs in place, and, this is key, to actually collect data so we can understand the problem and find better solutions. Then you have part 2, which is about the system itself. This is all about getting the system ready to protect children who are victims or witnesses. That means training police, lawyers, and judges on how to talk to kids, creating safe ways for them to report what happened, and making sure the process of giving testimony doesn't just create more trauma. And finally, part 3 deals with kids who are accused of breaking the law. The most important thing here is the focus on rehabilitation, not punishment. It says, hey, let's find alternatives to court, and detention should only ever be used as a last resort, for the shortest time possible.
Okay, so all of that sounds great on paper, right? But what does it actually look like in the real world? Let's check out how Thailand has turned these big international ideas into actual concrete changes in its own laws and procedures.
12. This number, it represents a massive shift in Thai law, and it comes directly from these new global standards. Any guesses what it is? It's the new minimum age for criminal responsibility.
Believe it or not, until 2022, a child as young as 10 could be held criminally responsible in Thailand. But, in line with the model strategies and UN recommendations, the law was changed and the age was raised to 12. This shows a modern understanding of child development, that kids under 12 just don't have the mental and moral maturity to be treated as criminals.
This is a perfect example of these ideas in action. For child victims, Thai law now demands this special, sensitive process. First, the questioning has to happen in a safe, comfortable room, not some scary courtroom. Second, a whole team of experts, like a psychologist and social worker, has to be there. Third, the questions are often asked through the psychologist to make it less traumatic. And finally, the whole thing is videotaped. The goal is simple, but so powerful. Get the truth without making a child live through their trauma over and over again.
So after looking at the problem, the global standards, and the real-world changes, we get to the most important question of all. Why does any of this matter so much? What's the big deal?
This quote, it just gets right to the heart of it. It's about recognizing that when a kid messes up, it's usually not because they're a bad kid. It's a reflection of their age, their brain development, and the world they're growing up in. So the answer shouldn't be punishment. It should be giving them a chance to learn, to heal, and to get back on the right track.
And let's be crystal clear about this. This is not about being soft on crime. It's about being smart on crime. When we protect vulnerable kids and focus on helping them instead of just punishing them, we get to the root of the problem. That's how you actually prevent future crime and build a society that's safer and healthier for every single one of us.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. When you really look at all the evidence, from child psychology to what works in the long run for society, is there any better, more important investment we can make than making sure every child gets a real second chance to build a better future?